Hello, this is Dr. Beech, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about probiotics and how important probiotics are to our overall health. Probiotics, I'm sure everybody's heard about. They're the friendly bacteria that live in the gut. There are over 800, 900 different microorganisms that live in the gut, maybe even more. Seems like more being discovered all the time. And so it turns out that our small intestine, our gut, is actually uh, just a home to a great many microorganisms, and some are good and some are bad. And we call the good bacteria, the good bugs, so to speak, probiotics. And the major strands are Lactobacillus, bulgaris, and bifidus. And then there are the other microorganisms that live there, like Candida, which is yeast, H. pylori bacteria, which you hear about in GERD, and gastroesophageal reflux syndrome, E. coli. There's many different other types of organisms that live there. Those bad microorganisms, we'll call them, or bad bugs, are kept in bay by the power and the strength of the probiotics. So probiotics are protecting us from an overpopulation of the gut of the bad microorganisms or bad bugs. So that's one thing that they do. When the bad bugs overproliferate, then they create inflammation. And that inflammation then can dry the gut and create constipation. It also weakens digestion and our ability to break down proteins and sugars. And it can even lead to, on a milder side, irritable bowel syndrome, or on a more severe side can be kind of the onset of things like colitis. So we want to make sure that there's that balance there for that reason, but also the probiotics are there to protect us in terms of what we absorb into the bloodstream. You see, what we put in our mouth goes in the alimentary canal and through the stomach and into the gut. It's still considered to be external to the body. It's not really internal until it absorbs through the bloodstream. And it's the probiotics that are sitting there kind of at the doorway, like sentinels, deciding that this is good and this is bad. This is nutrition, this can come in. This is a toxin, this is an undigested protein, this is an allergen, you have to go. So they're making that intelligent decision about what to absorb into the body and what to reject. So if there's a depletion of the probiotics, then we get what's called permeable bowel or leaky gut syndrome, where bad things like allergens, toxins, undigested proteins, peptides, half-digested proteins can get into the bloodstream and thereby set up many different kinds of diseases. So the probiotics are there to also maintain that type of health. And they maintain that balance that's there in the gut, which is so important because hundreds of thousands of different neurotransmitters are made in the gut. Over 90% of our serotonin, which makes the brain feel happy and calm, is made in the gut. And about 80% of our white blood cells, of our immune system, is there in the gut because so many things are coming in that could damage the body. So the gut in Ayurveda is called the brain of the brain. That's how important it is. And so we have to make sure that this brain is healthy so that this brain is healthy and the rest of the system can work properly. So always in my office, when a patient comes in, one of the very first things that we evaluate is what is the quality of the gut. Now, many patients tell me, well, but I'm taking a probiotic. Well, interestingly enough, it turns out that a lot of the probiotics that are out there are actually no good. The bacteria are dead. The only product that I've seen that is good is called Natron. It doesn't mean there aren't other products, but it's the only one I know of, is Natron probiotic, which has very viable probiotic in it. But the most viable probiotic, the best probiotic, the most intelligent bacteria comes from making homemade yogurt. And homemade yogurt is different than buying yogurt at the store. The reason for that is when we make the yogurt fresh, then the yogurt is full, it's teeming full of fresh, very, very alive, very intelligent bacteria. And in that format, in the food, they are able to populate the gut more easily than if they'd been in a capsule. I've been told by a scientist who worked on making probiotics that once they live in the capsule for a while, they learn how to survive there, but they forget how to survive in the gut. So it takes a lot more work to actually make them intelligent enough to live in the gut. So we want to encourage you to make homemade yogurt. Now you might say, well, but wait a minute, I can go to the store and buy yogurt. But the problem is that the bacteria die off very quickly, and within 24, 36 hours, the majority of those bacteria have died off. And what's left is just enough maybe to spark a new batch of yogurt if you use it as a starter, but not really enough to be therapeutic to actually improve the gut. So we want to encourage you to make your own yogurt, fresh homemade yogurt. We suggest using a product called that Natron makes, which is a yogurt starter. It makes the best yogurt I've ever had. Almost perfect yogurt every time. It comes in a bottle. It's a powder. You keep it in the refrigerator and just use a little bit when you make the yogurt each time. And this type of yogurt will be the very, very best probiotic for you. Now, there are some other aspects to making sure that we're able to repopulate the gut with the probiotic. Just taking the probiotic sometimes isn't enough. There are many other ways that we have in Ayurveda to support the reestablishment of the probiotic in the lining of the gut. And so we'll talk about some of those things in another video. But today I just wanted to make these points about probiotic because it's such an important point. I want to make sure all my patients are using probiotic. If you're not doing it, you have to try because it makes such a big difference in your immune system and your overall digestive health. So thank you very much.